Hi, this is a video of the garden and the house by Dave Edwards, G7RAU, and Jeanette Edwards, my wife. And here we are. Hopefully you can see us both. There's me, there's Jeanette, and we're just going to walk around the garden. We're at the furthest point away from our house at the moment, and it's quite an odd plot this is. So looking out across, it's a bit misty today, so not a fantastic view. But this is what we call the paddock, this area. Sorry Jeanette, I'll just go around there. Oops. And we just planted it up with trees at the moment. If you look down across at the moment, all this sort of used to belong to our house many years ago, when it wasn't our house, but all of the gardens there used to belong to our house, and over the years have been sold off, but these last couple of plots weren't sold off. So what we've kept is what we call the paddock, and we've also got a lane running down from our property, which is a hut as well. Not that you can do an awful lot with a lane. So this is the paddock, and this was 8-foot tall brambles. It was a real mess. It had a polytunnel just where Jeanette is there, just by here, and a huge polytunnel in here. 11, was it 11 or 13? I can't remember now. A lot of tyres, lots and lots of rebar stuck in the ground, and I hit some rebar with the lawnmower and sheared off one of the blades. So getting it down was a nightmare, and it took me a few weeks to get it down. But now it's down, we just keep it down until we decide what to do with it. And the gorse in here was massive. You got roots of gorse there. Okay, so here's the lane that runs down the back, all the way back down to our garden. In the distance there you can see my antenna, or my antennas on top of a tower. It's up about 65 feet, and there's antennas for 70 cents, 23 cents, 6 metres and 4 metres. Okay, so this is the battle really, keeping the gorse at bay down here and the brambles. I'm probably going to have to get down here in a few weeks. These gates were here because many years before we were here they used to keep pigs in here, about 30 years ago. So the gates were to keep the pigs in, but the fences have long gone. I don't think I'd trust pigs in the area at the moment. I think they'd probably escape. Okay, so this is a long old lane, and it's beautiful views across here. You can just see the top of the church in the distance. Yeah, can't quite see the sea from on the ground. You can, in the winter, from the bedroom window, from the upstairs landing window, you can see the boats on the sea across in, is it Foul Estuary? Or the Foul area? Helford, sorry, on the Helford river, or not the river, where it comes out to the sea. Hi Tom. And that's Keith's at the back of ours that you can probably see there. So he's got his own little workshops at the back. Doesn't bother us. Really nice bloke Keith, and very useful for digging holes and digging out pampuses. And also he's got a lot of scrap metal, so if I need any metal I know where I'm going. Okay, so we're just coming into our garden now, and that's the long side at the moment. This is Dave and Catherine's garden on the left hand side. Sorry? Okay, I've got to look up at my antennas. There we go. So that's the antennas, my caravan, which is the shack. And to the left of that, in shot at the moment, it's a bandstand with Matthew G0XDI 17LE extra long tonner attached to the bandstand. Very strange thing to have a bandstand in the garden. That will eventually become the shack and the observatory. Still haven't managed to get my telescope set up here yet, and until I think all of this pandemic's over, I'm not going to be able to, but eventually I do want to put an observatory at the end of the garden. Okay, so I'm going to swing back round now, and this is what we call the back garden, and that's the house, which is 2 cottages knocked into one. Yeah, it's got all tiles on the back, it's got some missing on the front, but of course to get a roofer during these times is very difficult. Over there, that's the garage. It's absolutely massive. It's full of stuff at the moment. Even though we're in self-isolation, upstairs at the moment it's all locked off and the builder is coming again. He had some stuff delivered. We're having 2 en-suites put in, and in total there'll be 4 bathrooms, 5 bedrooms, and yeah, it's a big property. Nightmare to heat. It's made of granite, and the walls are about 4 foot thick. It's ridiculous. Yeah, they're very thick, and yeah, to get them warm, it doesn't even get warm. It stays nice and cool in the summer. Trouble is, it doesn't really warm up in the winter. Okay, so the boat you can see, that's one of Jeanette's planters. She's got 2 of them, and on the back is where all the action happens with planting and bringing seedlings on. That's Jeanette's little greenhouse. Okay, which direction shall I go, sweetheart? Shall I go around the back way this time? Okay. Okay, so we're going to walk down towards the caravan. As you can see, between the caravan and the bandstand, it's what I said on the last video, it is very Jurassic. And what type of plant is it? Phormium. It's a phormium. Yeah. Yeah, Jeanette says it's got to be removed because it's gone over the top. It's just a monster now. It's just taking over. And behind it is the most impressive gunnera we have in the garden. And yeah, beautiful gunnera. It's already coming on really well. Really nice. And thanks to Mike, G3VYI, and Peter, G3SJX. And you can see all that lovely cable there. I could have never afforded to get on air if it wasn't for those 2 guys coming up with some LDF 550 and 650. Fantastic. Cheers, guys. Okay, so this is the back of the property. We have bamboo up, obviously, to hide from Keith's workshop, but it's not that messy in there. And here's the tower. Many thanks to Mike, G8TIC, for loaning it me until I can get some masts planted of my own. It's a mobile 100-foot tower and about a 13-foot pole on top, so it would go up to 113 foot, but it's only about 65 foot at the moment. Okay, so at the back here we've got a big stack of bark that we've got to leave about another 9 or 10 months yet until we use, although I reckon we could probably use the top stuff. Try and keep on top of the weeds here. And the bricks here are from the party wall. The builder's taken out the party wall upstairs to put in the ensuite on the double room. There's over 400 bricks there, and all the rubble there. Okay, and that's our back gate. So that's where we can come in if we want to come in the back way and get any deliveries. I can't really see. If I just point the camera up above, and it's very misty today, so you can't see, but you can see the big, I think it's Arthur at Goonhilly, the big dish, and you can also see the tips of the wind turbines towards the north. But as soon as the spring and the summer come, you can't see anything at all because the growth just covers it up. Okay, so there's all my tower stuff. Going a little bit rusty, a bit frustrating, but eventually, hopefully I'll get them planted in. Lovely, is that a sycamore tree? It is, isn't it? Yeah, lovely sycamore tree there. Okay, so we've got some nice trees in this area. If Jeanette prods me and reminds me, I'll mention about some of the other trees. In some areas we've got, it's called honey fungus, and it grows up inside the trees. And looking down at the moment in this area, this is the bonfire area. We planted a lot of trees along the border and a lot of shrubs. This is the lane, and this is National Trust that runs up the side. Of course, everywhere's deserted at the moment with lockdown. Oh, let's see if I can climb up the bank. Now, if I point down there, our land finishes at the road there, but there's not a lot you can really do with it. We did wonder about just moving the wall across, so it's a bit further than 6 foot, probably 10 foot across. and we decided not to. So what I did this winter, I've trimmed it all down, brush cut it, and we'll just let it grow up with shrubbery there. So we'll have like quite a thick border to the house. And the wall I'm standing on is a typical Cornish hedge. So it's a stone wall, but it's been overgrown and a bit rumbly tumbly. Right, let's see if I can get down here without falling down. Jeanette's already got well ahead. Looking across there, she's heading for a seat. Whoops, up. Right, I'm down off the wall. So yeah, I mean, it's massive. I mean, we didn't even realise, even behind the bonfire here, I mean, we cleared it all out. This was just level with the bonfire at the back with brambles. It was just all overgrown. Couldn't even get in here. And it's just everywhere, there's space. And there's a rhododendron. It's not happy, the rhododendron. We've struggled with rhododendrons here. I think it's because it gets so wet in the winter and they just end up drowning. Okay, so we're at the back now. There's Jeanette sitting in the seat. This is what we call the fairy garden. And this is the framework here. It's right across to hide the bonfire, and what we've planted here is some wisteria and some clematis that eventually will cover this area off. But we love this area when the wind's not coming from the east, which it is today. It's got all Jeanette's little fairies in here and lots of little plants. So we'll just walk across to this area. A little flower garden. A little gnome having a fish there. I don't know if you can see him. Yeah, it's really pretty. And this is stumpery stroke fairy garden. So we've got a big stump over there that Keith's going to dig up for us, and then eventually we'll have that in the middle. And across on the back there, that's the wood or the log store. So plenty of room for logs. We haven't got that many in there. We burnt a lot of logs this winter. And here's a big flower bed that Jeanette's just cleared all the way along here. Put in lots and lots of plants. So this is going to be really impressive latter part of this year and next year. Okay, so that's just looking back over the garden. What I'll do this time, as I fall over a plant, is take you a run up the hydrangea beds here, the hydrangea grove I call it, and the bluebells up the top. This is going to be absolutely beautiful this year. It was beautiful last year. It got really battered during the winter and we were a bit worried, all the winter, the February, end of January and February, and we had some more trees come down in this area, flattened some of them, but they seem to have perked up. The bluebells at the top, they just won't stop growing. Every year they're expanding, so we're really excited about that. We both love bluebells and do miss our bluebell walks that we used to have on the Isle of Wight. And there's more bluebells behind the rhododendron as well, popping up, which is great. Covers the bank with bluebells. Next year I'd imagine there'll be even more. Okay, so this is a little passageway we've put in for the future, and it's our secret passageway between our gardens, our little secret passageway. And this is now heading into the orchard. So up the steps and put a little rumbly tumbly type of steps down here. Hopefully I won't do a tumble now. Okay, and there we go. So now we're in the orchard. This is just a cross in the lane again. The road's a little closer here, so I think the wall was a bit wobbly when it was put up. Okay, I'm just spanning through at the moment, through the orchard, and Jeanette's just coming down the stairs as well. That's who you can see in shot. Okay, so we've planted up this wall and all around the orchard with trees. We lost trees up here. We lost, I don't know, 7, 8, 10, a lot of trees. So Jeanette's cleaned all the walls up. We've rebuilt some of them. Again, they're Cornish hedges. We planted trees along. Jeanette's put lots of stuff in. There's a little gunnerer there as well. And this will look beautiful. But we've got a real mix of trees through here. We've got quite a bit of sycamore, ash, willow. I'm not sure what some of it is. Blackthorn. Okay, so this is the back of the orchard, and our beautiful weeping willow that we're going to take some cuttings of. Not this one, that's a standard old willow, but that's a beautiful little weeping willow. And this is one of our favourite little seats here. We love sitting here. There's no wind at all. The east wind isn't bashing us today. It looks odd, I know, but I decided when it all rotted before that I'd replace it with aluminium rods or aluminium tube. And that's what it is, lots of aluminium tube, but it's very comfortable. It gets a bit cold on a cold day though. Okay, so looking across the orchard, in front here, there's cherry trees. At the back of there, the big tree there, that's an apple tree. Growing up the side of it is a kiwi fruit. And then looking back further, that's a pear tree. And right at the back, well, that's a sycamore right at the back, but to the, sorry, a beech. And to the left and to the right of it, we've got plum trees. So we're hoping they do okay. So we've got a real mix, and at the, somewhere there's some blackcurrant, isn't there, sweetheart?
No, blueberries.
Oh, blueberries, sorry, over there.
In the bed in the middle.
Oh, over there, there's some blueberries planted, so lots and lots planted here. Okay, and again, Jeanette cleared all the walls. She did that last year, and already they've started to grow up. But lots of foxgloves coming through this year, so it's going to be absolutely beautiful with all the foxgloves. And we're going to collect the seeds and dot them everywhere around the road, around the borders of the land. This rhododendron's doing a bit better. It doesn't get flooded and doesn't get battered by the wind. Yeah, the odd obelisk or big concrete area, this was an old cesspit. Of course we're on mains drainage. We're quite lucky in Cornwall to be on mains drainage. So dotted around the property there's a septic tank, and there's 1, 2, 3 cesspits. There's one also down the bottom where we've got our seat on. So it used to be a huge cesspit. I'm not sure if it's this one. This one is really deep. I mean, it's 8-10 foot down. I've never climbed down in it. There's a push bike down it, all sorts of rubbish down it. But one of the cesspits used to be for the whole line of houses. If you look up here, you can see all the houses, and all that used to come down and into one property in our garden, but not anymore. Okay, so lupins along here. Some lovely dogwood. I'm not sure what that type of dogwood is. Jeanette? No, we don't know. But it looks nice anyway. Okay, more bluebells. Bluebells popping up. Okay, so now we're into the back of the house. So there's the back door. And to the left of it is Jeanette's little boot store. Good idea she had to keep all the wellies outside. It's got boots and all sorts of bits and bobs in there. And it means we don't keep on walking through with our boots on. And I missed an area out, so I will go back. There's a motorhome. The number plate, G7RAU. And this is, I mean, this is just ridiculous. I'm not sure if it will come out very well, but the garage is absolutely massive. And there's my little tractor mower and all our junk. And of course all the stuff for the building work we're having done at the moment. It's a building site upstairs. But yeah, massive. And it's also got a huge area over the back. I'm not going to walk through because I don't think I'd get through. And I've still got unpacked boxes there. And the big generator, the massive thing, that's Mike's GTIC, so kept here for when we do the contest down at the Lizard. And I'll just go to the back of the log store. We do have more logs here, as you can see, logs everywhere, side of the garage. The back of the log store is a flower bed. See, look at the bluebells, absolutely beautiful. And Jeanette spent a lot of time in here and clearing it all, and this year this is going to be beautiful. You'll notice there's a lot of goat willow, and the reason why, the goat willow grows so well here. It doesn't mind getting flooded out. It puts up with the awful winds we get here, and actually it's got some character. People always say it's the weed of the garden, or the weed of the trees, and you should rip them out, but I disagree. If they grow, you let them grow. Okay, so there's Jeanette just taking a breather while she's waiting for me to come around. We've got seats dotted around, and yeah, we love just kind of grabbing a drink when we've been gardening, and yeah, just sitting in the seats. This is a little area that Jeanette cleared the other day outside the house. So it used to have a privet bush that had gone totally out of control. So we've glued some little animals, and this is our little animal area outside the back door, and it's really nice. And it's got some plants in there, and as you can see, it's got a little, is it antelope or deer sitting on top? And yeah, lots of things planted, so that's going to be fun. Okay, there's another little seat. We repaired this one, it was a bit rotten, so I treated all the wood and repaired it. It's got a nice little bit of character on it, so we're going to paint this probably multicolours, I think Jeanette said. Here's a side garden against the house. This actually is the oil store in here. It's an extension to the house. It's got a massive oil tank in there, absolutely massive. Lots and lots of water. And I nearly forgot, sorry, not water, oil. I nearly forgot about the water. We've also got a massive, we call it our spring, our well. And as you can see there, the water pump, it's all a working water pump, and I understand it's either a 16.5 or a 17,000 gallon tank. It used to be the old septic tank, and it's been cleared out, and it collects all the rainwater, so we don't pay for grey water here. And we've just got endless supply of water when it doesn't rain. Okay, so across the road there, if I just stand still a bit, that's the garage. And that's Paul and Lara, and they're really nice people, so obviously we get all our fuel there. Hopefully they're doing okay with this lockdown and the pandemic. Okay, so I'm going to take a walk round. This area you're looking at the moment used to have my 100-foot Yagi beaming towards Brazil. I lost it on Boxing Day, come crashing down. So yeah, 90-mile-an-hour winds do tend to cause some damage. Okay, so this is just our front garden, and we've done quite a bit of work in here. We've chopped down some myrtle trees that were, they would have been down by now, snapped off. And we've got some lovely character with the trees in the garden. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, if I go very close to it, you can see they're all furry and all covered in stuff, and that is because the air quality down here is so good. And it's lichen and algae, and this has just come into life. And this is a cherry tree, another cherry tree. It's not an edible cherry, the other two were, but the blossom on it this year is fantastic, and hopefully you can see some of the blossom on there. And it really has sprung into life. I don't remember it being this good before. There we go, there's some lower down, so we can actually have a closer look at the blossom there. Whoop, I got my finger in the way. There we go. Lovely cherry blossom. What's it smell like? Mmm, nice. Okay, there's another myrtle. So as you can see, more Cornish hedging. And down here, I mean, everywhere in the garden, I forgot to point it out in the other gardens, but you can see all the primroses. Primroses everywhere this year. And when I cut the grass, I tried to go round them because they're just popping up everywhere, and they're absolutely beautiful. And really do extremely well in the garden. Okay, so here we go, we're on the edge of the property again. Just turning around, and there's another one of Jeanette's planters, another little boat. Seafaring boats, but I don't think I trust them anymore. They're a bit split. Okay, just going around the back and looking down the lane, down the side of the property. You'll see a few little fir trees, Leylandii trees. They don't do tremendously well here because they do get battered by the wind. Yeah, I didn't comment on the other gardens. I did in the other video, but if you look up through, literally from here where I'm standing, all the way up to the top was flooded. And this was under probably a foot of water. The next one, the orchard, was under 2 foot of water, and absolutely awful. And the next 2 bays, the bonfire was full of water as well. And the second bay up, I had a moat around my caravan at the top. Had to build a little bridge to get to the shack. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to walk around now to the front, and this is Jeanette's little pond and her ducks, and she's got lots of little ducks. Hopefully you can see them all. The little pond pump going, and I don't know if you'll be able to make out. Obviously this is not. Can you see? I won't be able to tell. There's lots and lots of tadpoles in there. And a couple of newts as well, great newts, which is good. So the tadpoles are really happy in there. Hopefully we'll have lots of them come back. We find frogs everywhere around the garden. Those little solar panels. Okay, so walking across here, and again, hairy trees. Very hairy, this one. It's almost like it's got a beard. And yeah, all the lichen growing. And there we go again. Calendula looks absolutely beautiful. There you go. We planted them a few years ago, wasn't it? And nothing really come up, and then these have appeared this year, so we're really pleased. We're going to collect the seeds this year. As you can see, all along the border we've planted all sorts of things to try and get a real mixed border. It was lots of hawthorn trees all the way along here, hawthorn all the way along the front, and they were horrible. They were just grown into the garden, so that was a nightmare, chopping all of those down. This is a totally reclaimed area where I'm standing. It was all just overgrown. We didn't even know this was here. I mean, there's another Cornish hedge and a huge flower bed at the front, but it was just overgrown with brambles and hawthorn. And yeah, Jeanette built the wall up, apart from a couple of the big flagstones I put in, and has planted it right up. And as you can see, it's absolutely jam-packed. Things do grow incredibly well here, and everywhere you'll see red campion. Is it red campion? Red campion everywhere. Okay, so this is the showstopper as you drive in. It's just growing up at the moment. It's up to about 3 foot tall at the moment, and it's gunnera, and it's a pretty big gunnera, this one. And we watered it last year during the summer because we had a really dry summer, and it kept going the whole summer, so we had 7-8 foot tall gunnera in the garden. And here's the front. So that's another little flower bed that Jeanette's doing. And the person up there, that's Derek, and he's doing all the work upstairs. So he's just putting in the soil pipe hole at the moment, just drilling that out. And that's the front of the house. You might spot, if you look closely, a few of the tiles are gone. You can wave if you want, Derek. You're on camera. Okay, so that big tree is not actually a tree there, that's ivy. It's an ivy tree, so we've let the ivy grow up it and just bush out. And as you can see, there was a big tree there as well, to the left of the house, and we had to chop that down. And I'm glad we did. 2 days after we chopped it down, there was a big storm, and we'd have had one of the big bough branches coming through our window. So yeah, I don't know why, but there were some trees planted very close to the house. Okay, so this area in front here, it's got lots of different plants in there. I don't know most of the names, but I know this one. This is the monkey puzzle tree, and we're hoping this is going to be an absolute stunner. But it takes such a long time to grow. Other things are quite Jurassic here and grow up really quickly. But that plods away. It's probably grown a few feet since we've had it, maybe 1.5 feet. And most of the plants in here, many thanks to my great friends back at the Isle of Wight College, and they gave me a great gift, which was a voucher for the local nursery here, and we bought all these plants, and decided this was all pampas grass through here. There was I don't know, 11, I think 11 pampases in total in the garden, but this one was, how long is that? 35 foot long by 8 foot tall, mad. And we got Keith at the top to dig it all out and planted it all up. So this is the part of the garden we're still working on at the moment. We've had this covered now for over a year with the black canvas to try and kill off some of the red campion and crocosmia that were growing there. It hasn't worked, I don't think, but we're going to start uncovering this year and start planting it up. And yeah, here's the front hedging, which is a real mixed hedging, and we're trying to get this to fill, obviously to block out the road. It's really 60 mile an hour along here, but people often travel much faster, which isn't good. As you can see, absolutely everywhere red campion coming up. Okay, so one more sweep round. Have a look at the house there. There's the full house, and I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks a lot.